Welcome to On the Fence, the show that is about helping you decide whether or not to spend your hard-earned money on the biggest and possibly best releases. Nick,
Hans,
what does the fence say about his power level?
Ah!
So, Nick, this is Dragon Ball FighterZ. Why are you emoting so much?
Because I'm emotional. Hug!
So this is Dragon Ball FighterZ. It is a brawler from the same people who make Blaze Blue, is that it?
Blaze Blue and Guilty Gear.
A lot of hype about this game because it looks exactly like the anime. It's amazing. Not currently because we're in a lobby, but when we actually get into the fighting portion of the game, it is definitely looks ridiculously like.
Alright, I've created a room.
Yeah. Okay.
The password is 9876.
Okay. I am entering your ring, Nick.
Yeah, you are.
What is it?
9876.
It's very complicated.
I didn't want to just leave it as 0000. It seemed too obvious.
You could have went 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright.
That's still too obvious.
Oh, I have so many. I don't know who to fight as.
So yes, this is, well, Hans gets into the game. This is the new fighting game from the Guilty Gear people, Arc System Works. It is a 3-on-3 fighter. So you do not do rounds, it is just first person to lose. All three of their fighters loses. Obviously it is Dragon Ball Z theme, so spiky hair and anime.
We have very similar teams.
Yes, we do. I can swap mine up, like, I don't mind.
Can you swap it up from here?
No, I think you actually need to.
No, that's fine then, that's fine. Boom. Come at me though, I am ready for battle.
Sweet, here we go!
So yeah, we're going to do a match or two and, for about 15 minutes. And then after this, we're going to launch into a bit of a discussion about the game and what we think of it. So get prepared for a lot of screaming and gesturing, and then whatever else being.
Don't fight yet.
Okay.
So this is, I will take this bit because I play more fighting games than Hans. This is a 4-button brawler. We've got light attack, medium attack, heavy attack.
Okay. Wait.
And every character has a unique attack. So for Goku, it is a Ki Blast.
Ow!
Yes, you can charge your meter. You have a rush.
Or you got your ultimate attack.
God damn it.
Don't you got your ultimate? You blasted me in the face with a Ki Blast, Nick.
So, taking from another one of their good fighting games, Persona 4 Arena, there is this concept of auto combos. So there is just a basic combo, considering of if you just mash the light attack or mash the medium attack, you will spit out a combo. So you can still do some pretty flashy stuff even if you're not that great at the game.
Like, oh shit, not like that, not like that, oh god! Yeah, no, it does feel very, accessible. You said yourself, you kind of have some issues with it, like you don't feel like you don't know what you're doing half the time.
It's not that I don't feel like I know what I do. It seems like it's an issue I have with a fair few fighting games. They don't surface the combos very well. So obviously there is the auto combos, but again, outside of that, there is still just combos you can do, like of stringing different moves together. And the only way you can see those is by going into either knowing them or going into the combo challenge where it like takes you through one by one each of the combos.
Ay, bitch. Oh no! Oh, okay, I'm alive. That's good. Yes! I just killed my own son. How do you like that? Oh! You know, your pink hair's really gay, I'm just saying.
So yeah, the other issue I have is, so something like Street Fighter and I know Marvel vs. Capcom generally have them, is these concept of combo breakers. So like when I'm in someone's combo, I never feel like I know what to do apart from just wait for them to finish and hope I can get out of it.
Yeah, like there's no
like there's no combo breaker. Like a lot of games have them, like a lot of fighting games have, oh, you can expel some of your meter and essentially get out of a combo.
Yeah.
Which seems like this game's kind of missing that.
Oh, this could be it. Yeah, that's it. Damn it.
And the other, and maybe it's because I'm not as well versed in the MVC kind of Marvel vs. Capcom type of fighting game, so I feel like I'm not making the best use of my like side characters. I don't feel like I know when to switch to them, or if I should be switching them, or when to get them into combos. Because I know a lot of Marvel vs. Capcom is about using your combo characters to like essentially have complete air control, so you knock your opponent up and then just use your side characters to keep juggling them.
I can understand that, but at the same time I feel like this might not necessarily be that sort of game, because like this is to me this is aimed more towards Dragon Ball Z fans than fighting game fans.
No. How do I change it? No. Can I change my team from here?
Sit and standby seat.
Oh, the team. There we go. Hit start.
Start?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Let's go. I haven't played a lot of these characters, so let's wing it. This is a very weird team, but it'll do.
I like to play with teams that have matching colors, so because I'm weird like that.
So speaking of matching teams, so I was doing the arcade mode for a bit.
Yeah.
Game has just your kind of standard arcade mode for a lot of fighting games where you just go through a series of battles. They put me against a team of Nappa, Krillin, and Tien, and the team was called Cue Balls.
Seriously? Okay. Boom. Boom. Right. So we'll do another fight here. Yeah.
I haven't updated my fighter card.
One thing I do like about this game is that, like you said, you have more experience at fighting games than I do, but yet that match we just played was not one-sided. Do you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like when we did what's its my face? Injustice 2.
Yeah.
Like, you pretty much kicked my ass in Injustice 2, whereas in this it is relatively even.
Okay, don't hit me yet. Can we just take a minute to appreciate how amazing Gotenks' walk is?
I also like the fact we're pretty much the same size.
Yep.
You always say don't hit me yet, and then always get the first shot. Up.
Hi.
Oh, that was good energy. But yeah, I'm probably very weird, but I always enjoy facing people with, or when I'm playing as people, I always like to like have the same color. Wait, did you pick? We both pick Gotenks. That makes sense. Well, that's cool, I guess.
Yeah, they don't do anything until you hit a button.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah,
that would have been great to know.
You hit is what they do.
Ow, 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 ow. I'm not enjoying this, Nick. I am not enjoying this. Yeah, you're a ball, Nick. Now what you gonna do, bitch?
Oh, but you didn't pick Piccolo, man. It changes if you have Piccolo in your team.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, Piccolo does one that hits up if he's in your team.
Oh, does he do a serve? Okay, that's pretty cool. Did you pick Krillin in your team?
Yeah.
Very weird. Something I did notice about...
Bye!
And there I go. Something I did notice about the single player is that it only has set members of like, even though you can unlock the entirety of the Sea Fighters and stuff, it only has certain
Do you have 2 Gohans in your team?
Yeah, did you really realize that?
Yeah. Still not great with hit. He seems very parry reliant, which I'm not great at nailing.
Gee, Gohan versus Krillin. Who might win this, Nick? What is the point in that? It literally does nothing.
Why can't I remember any of Krillin's moves?
They're all the same.
I know, but they're not the one. I'm not doing the moves I'm expecting to do.
Oh, blah, blah, blah. No, 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 no! Ah, blah, 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 blah. You bald prick. Oh, damn it, I thought I was. Ah, god damn it.
Who's funny for picking Krillin? No, bitch!
I hope you die, you fucking freckled baldy dick. But yeah, like, as you can see, the game looks unreal.
Yeah,
like that looks like...
There are points where it
Dragon Ball
looks
Z.
better than the anime, which... It's not often you can say a game looks better than its source material.
Yeah. I would say it is up there with Stick of Truth and like the South Park games.
Yeah,
And looking like
in terms of recreating a look, it's pretty insane.
But yes, so that is it's pretty much the majority of the gameplay right there. It's a team-based brawler. So we're going to now launch into a bit of a discussion about the game, and then we'll give our final thoughts on it. So, that was footage from Dragon Ball Z Fighters. We will not be playing that on Brawl anytime soon because I don't want to lose the Nick. But, more important...
Because I would kick your ass with fucking no latency.
More importantly, let's discuss it.
Yep.
I think it's really quite... Like, I think it is one of those games, and I know it's a buzz phrase now, but it is kind of easy to pick up and play, difficult to master. Like, we went in there, you've had, what, I say a good day with it. I've had a couple of days with it. And I'd say we could probably go into a tournament and do relatively well. Put it this way, in my second match I ever played in that, I went into the arcade and beat an average. It was like the normal difficulty, no problem.
Yeah, I think it was important for them, like, with this, I would say this is ARC's biggest, most mainstream game yet, I'd say. Like, Guilty Gear is very popular within the fighting game community, and BlazBlue is pretty popular in the fighting game community, but this is kind of the first time they've been given a license to make something that's getting a lot of mainstream buzz. I think it was really important to kind of, not dumb down, but simplify their fighting system. To kind of accommodate that. This is going to attract a lot of people who aren't necessarily going to be massive fighting game fans.
Like me.
So it was important to say, not only cater to fighting game fans, but also cater to Dragon Ball fans.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think they've done a really good job of. I think there's some things they've maybe simplified to a bit too much of an extent. Like we kind of said, like, I think the partner characters are maybe not as well utilized as they could be. And I think that's probably my biggest issue with the fighting system. Apart from that, I do think they've done a very good job with making this accessible for fighting game fans and Dragon Ball fans.
Yeah, I mean, like, the controls themselves, like, all of the key attacks are quarter circle towards the enemy, away from the enemy, and then a button. And like that's pretty much across the entire board for characters. The attacks might differ, like what they do, but in terms of controls, for every character it's pretty much the exact same. And I think that's really, really smart, because it kind of gives you the nuance of, okay, well, different characters will react differently, but I don't have to sit there and go like, up, up, down, down, quarter circle away, half circle forward.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like that.
It's also very smart of them to make this game very controller friendly. Like, all your attacks are done on the face button. It's not like, say, Street Fighter where you have 6 attack buttons, so you end up with like one of them mapped, or 2 of them the same map on the trigger and the trigger and the like bumpers. So I think it's very smart of them to make your main fighting stuff, it's all in the face. You do not need it. Like, there's any saying, you do not need a fighting stick to play this game.
Oh yeah.
Which I think is obviously a lot of people's biggest issue with fighting games, where they feel like, oh, I need to fucking say drop another fucking 80 quid to get this chunky ass fighting stick that I'm only ever going to use for one game.
Yeah, and I'm kind of disappointed we don't have Iwa here, because although you're more into your fighting games, Iwa's pretty big into his fighting games. Like, well, probably out of all 4 of the Bash Bros, he would be the most into his fighting games. Like, he had Street Fighter 5 on one of his Game of the Year lists, and it was a piece of shit. So I would love for, like, to get a take from a more of a not pro. I would not call Iwa a pro.
Proficient.
Yes, in fighters, because to me, I feel like this is, although they have had to simplify it, I still think this could do very well on a pro circuit, as like one of those games that you would see at Pro Evo. That's the fighting game one, isn't it? Pro Evo.
It's just Evo.
This is just Evo.
It's just Evo. Pro Evo is the football game, man.
It could be Pro Evo because there are professional gamers. I would love to see. I would like for this game to do well for itself. I feel like all the Dragon Ball fighting games that have come beforehand, they got really complicated.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of them skewed more towards trying to replicate the style of fighting in Dragon Ball. Kind of like, say, the Naruto games have done, like that style of combat, which is apt because I think they're made by the same company, Connect 2. So it was nice. It's nice to see something that harkens back to, say, remember that old PS1 one, like Ultimate Battle 22 or something?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so it's nice to see them kind of harken back to a more traditional fighter.
But even the first Budokai, you know, it was a traditional fighter.
The first few Budokai games were the same.
And then they kind of went towards more 3D stuff. You're right, and then they got a bit. That was my issue with the last one. What's the new series? Xenoverse? Dragon Ball Z Xenoverse?
Yeah.
That's my issue with that, was that it got too complicated. The controls especially got too complicated, because, you know, there was dash to your enemy, key attacks, different types of key attacks, charge up, and then even just the movement, you know, there was having to like get your altitude right and stuff like that. It got way too complicated, and I feel like that was one of the things that really put me off Xenoverse. Although I love the idea behind it, the controls and stuff got too complicated. So yeah, I think it's a good thing they have gone for in this, which is they've been able to implement the style of the combat without having to overcomplicate the controls. Like one of those fights, although it's on a 2D or 2D plane, it looks flashy and it looks cool as fuck, essentially. Without having...
They do some very nice attention to the detail stuff as well. Like, if you deflect someone's like basic key blast, you'll actually see it fly off into the distance and destroy the background.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like, there's some really nice, like, for as much as this is, a lot of this is, like, replicating 2D art, they really take advantage of the depth of field stuff.
Yeah, it's like, I think because it's 2D art, they can put more detail into the nuance bits.
Should we talk about the actual, what surrounds the gameplay, essentially?
So, what do you mean?
So, like, the modes and stuff.
Okay, yeah, sure.
So, from the outset, it kind of feels, outside of the core fighting, it, to me, feels a little bare bones.
Yeah.
Like, the story mode is just, you go from fight to fight. It doesn't really seem like they mix up the fights all that much. Like, it doesn't seem like, say, like Injustice was very good about putting certain handicaps on fights, like throwing in the occasional 2-on-1 or stuff like that. And did a good job of always mixing up who you're actually fighting as in Injustice, which always helped. This kind of feels like it's just, alright, it's kind of just feels like glorified arcade mode in some parts.
I disagree with the story mode bit. I think you're right about there being a lack of content, sort of, or a bit like lack of variety. But I disagree about the story mode. I think the story mode, there's a slight RPG skew to it, which kind of makes it a bit more interesting than just a glorified arcade mode. Like shows, like there's health. For example, you got you have your pool of allies, and then you can take 3 out at a time to go into any one battle. You are not guaranteed your health back at the end of a battle. You keep some of it, you recharge somewhat, but you don't get full health again. And so there's that health management side to it, where you think, okay, well, how about I drop these 2 guys because they're on low health back to my pool, so that the next fight they get more health back up, and I'll take these other 2 guys out and bring them out with me. So there's that side of it, but also on the others, also out there is RPG elements. So your characters have different levels as well, and so you're trying to like make sure you've got enough guys with you or who are high enough level for your boss fights. But then there's mini boss, or not mini bosses, but there's other like the main bad guys, the grunts, if you will, are clones of the Z fighters, and they make up a majority of who you're fighting. So there's so you kind of bring out your weaker guys to fight them. So I like the story mode because of there is the RPG element to it. My issue with the story mode is, and we talked about this beforehand, is the tutorial stuff goes on for far too long. I'm in 5 chapters. I played all the tutorial missions.
Yeah.
Because there's actually a training section like All Fighters, and I did all those because I didn't think there'd be any training in the story mode. So that I got into the story mode, I had to replay all these fucking training missions again, and I'm 5 chapters in and still getting the training missions. And
it's nice that though you can just skip those and just wail on the guy, and once you win the fight, you won the fight. It's still
they
don't make you actually do the tutorial at least to finish the fight.
Yeah, and like you kind of really realize that whenever you play, you bump into the same tutorial twice on one map. So I think once I get past all these tutorial bits, I think it'll be really a lot more enjoyable because I'm not having to do all that bullshit.
You mentioned the training mode, which is I think it's a bit iffy in this. I think it's nice they do give you the combo training. It's not very like half your the problem is half the combos I feel like are taken up by gives you 10 for each character, and I'd say a good 5 or 6 of those are always just alright, match for your auto combos. Here's how to do a special move, here's how to do your ultimate. Yeah. So you're only really getting 4 actual like new combos to learn.
Yeah.
That are actually requiring some form of skill.
Yeah.
Which seems a bit iffy, and I'm sure like there are a lot of probably fighting game theorists who will go out there and find other combos. But for people, if you're going to try and cater to your casual audience, you maybe need more in there for them to at least feel like they're achieving something.
Yeah, would you maybe prefer like I think was it the original Budokai or Budokai 2 where you actually swapped in your skills? Like so say to begin with.
It's not even, it's the fact it's just I feel like they don't do a good job of surfacing like inputs for combos rather than just they're kind of wanting you to rely, I feel like, on the auto combos, and then they're expecting the people who want to get really deep with the combos to be those fighting game enthusiasts who will just go and look stuff up online.
Nick, if I was on the fence about Dragon Ball FighterZ, I keep going to go Z at the end, but it's not. It is.
They have officially announced this game is literally just called Dragon Ball FighterZ.
What would you say to me?
If you're a Dragon Ball fan and have no interest in fighting games, there is probably enough here to satisfy you. It's not going to blow you away by any stretch of the imagination. It's a Dragon Ball game. It's nice that they've written an original story for it. But if you happen to have an interest in fighting games as well, this is going to be... You're going to spooge your pants at this. This is the best Dragon Ball fighting game that's probably ever existed. It's probably one of the best Dragon Ball games that's ever existed. And I think they've done a really good job of making it accessible to people who like Dragon Ball and are maybe not into fighting games but have a passing interest in them.
You're wrong, by the way.
Am I not? What am I wrong about?
The best Dragon Ball game that's ever made was Legacy of Goku 1.
Dude, I said it was one of the best Dragon Ball games.
Or maybe Legacy of Goku 2 or Boo's Fury. But those GBA games are fucking awesome.
And yeah, if you're really into fighting games, I think I'm just scratching the surface of it, but it does seem like there is a lot of depth to this fighting system once you kind of start scratching at the surface and getting past maybe some of the lackluster bits, such as the switching character system. I think there's still a lot of depth in there to be found. Hans, if you were on the fence, what would you say? If I was on the fence, what would you... Don't talk to yourself, that's weird. Crazy man sitting on the fence talks to himself.
That'll be me when I'm 60. I'm just going to be sitting on the fence like, Hans,
Video game!
yeah, Hans, what do you think of that Final Fantasy 102? I like it, Hans.
It kind of amazes me you think they will get like 90 Final Fantasy games out in like 60 years.
That's you do realise that's what Bash Bros will be whenever you three all die and it's just me. Yeah, so I think you kind of nailed it on the head. I think for your casual fan, Dragon Ball Z fan, coming into this, there is a story mode. There is a good whack of a story mode like that. Like it's a lot of... There's 3 story arcs in it. They're all the same story, but there's 3 arcs in it. And I don't think anyone was expecting that much single player content, especially in a fighting game. So I think it's accessible enough that just a regular Dragon Ball Z fan can come in, can launch into the single player and get... I maybe wouldn't say £45 worth of enjoyment, but I would say a good amount of enjoyment. And yeah, for your hardcore fighting fans, this is made by a company who knows how to make fighting games, and you can tell. And I think that they'll appreciate that coming into this. So, although, like we said, for a casual fan, there might be a lack of content outside of the story mode. Just because other than that, you've only got arcade mode. For the people who want to go online, want to get higher rankings and stuff like that, they're gonna love this game. Really, really love this game. I have also seen people throw around early Game of the Year contender, but I feel like this might be a bit niche for that. But yes, I would 100% recommend this game. Those were our opinions on Dragon Ball FighterZ, currently available on PC, PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, for in and around £44-45. Nick, thank you for joining me on the first On the Fence of 2018.
No problem. Fuck Yamcha.
God damn it, Nappa.